Recovering Life Ministries was open because it was my life. I've lived homeless, I've owned my own businesses, I've been married, I've been single, but I just couldn't live. I was in jail again for dealing drugs, and I cried out to God and I said, God, if it doesn't come out of your Bible, I'm not doing it anymore.
My life before RLM was just up and down. It was a continuous struggle. At the age of 21, I was struggling with addiction.
Before, I was very delusional in the world with many distractions, drugs, alcoholism.
I was in the shambles. I had a drinking problem. I never thought in a million years that I would be sober, but today God has transformed me in an amazing way.
Recovering Life Ministries is, we like the short version, is from crisis to Christ, meaning that anybody can be in a crisis and that they need Christ. But Recovering Life Ministries is a home. We provide beds for men to get back on their feet. There's been men that are married that come in and they basically had a drinking problem and they went through counseling and they're back with their wives today. We have men that have come in here that were homeless, no job, and no hope, broken. And today they have a job and they have hope in their not only their lives but in their spirit. The way it pretty much works is we'll get a phone call and Jason and I will go meet with them, try and meet them at the church or a coffee shop, and we sit them down and we just try and find out where they're trying to go.
The way I heard of RLM is one day I was on my way down to a pawn shop and I had met some fellows on the side of the street asking me if they would be able to pray with me. And that day was extremely overcast. In our prayer circle there was a ray of light that shined upon all of us. I felt an overwhelming sensation over my body. I'd been in the depths of darkness for a long time, and this was a ray of light that started to shine into my life. These gentlemen through the Oasis had introduced me to James of the RLM, and they invited me into their home to continue my relationship with Christ. Right now, at this point of my life, I am challenged to get reunification for my 5-year-old daughter, Madison, through Orangewood Social Services. She's now in foster care. To get her back into my life, I have to do random drug tests every day, 3 types of therapy, and just go 7 days a week for 6 months to 1 year. It's extremely difficult though through the fellowship and encouragement of the brothers here at RLM. They keep me lifted up and I just feel that I'm able to accomplish this mission of my life.
My name is Jason Soto and I manage and run Recovery Life Ministries House 1. The house can hold 9, 10 including me, but that changes as time goes on. We help provide resources to obtain work, to obtain anything from a driver's license to clothes on their back and even food, you know, if they don't have anything. We provide whatever is necessary for these guys to be productive in their lives outside and as well as living a comfortable life with the ability to build a foundation upon Christ. Well, there's a lot of rules that the house has, but the main ones are generally just to make sure that you're at Bible study in the morning, you hit the Tuesday night men's Bible study, Friday night life recovery, and we have all the guys when they first come in to attend Foundations of Faith class, and also service along with that.
Yeah, you don't have to have a faith or believe in Jesus when you come in here, but you have to be open to being presented, because that's what this house is about. It's about our Lord and Savior. I know that's what saved me. But I also understand that it took me a while, so I understand that it might be a process for somebody.
My brother would always tell me, come on man, let's go to church, and I would be like, man, no, I'm alright, I don't want to go, you know, and I kept doing that and putting myself in that pattern where I would just not go to church altogether because I was getting high, and, you know, and just in my addiction. My brother was getting motels for me, you know, he was paying for my motels, I was putting them through a lot. I continued to put him through a lot.
That was really hard on me. Just really kind of going to church and then after church having to go take him to a motel not know what my next week was going to be like, knowing that he was going from motel to motel.
I ended up taking a bunch of pills and trying to commit suicide. After that, the hospital pumped the pills out of my stomach, and they took me to a psychiatric hospital. I was there for about a month.
I remember one of my good friends, Chris Ortega, the one that started the other house. He just felt like God put it on his heart to reach out to my brother. I kind of felt that way too, and it was interesting because the first house that they lived at was right by my house. It was literally like walking distance. And so I know that that was totally from God saying, like, hey, things are looking up. Like, your brother's right next to you. You guys can hang out more, and like things are gonna get better.
I told him, yeah, man, I want to go. I need help, and I need God in my life. And I got out a couple days after that. I was in the other house for about almost a year. I've now been clean off drugs for a year. My dad was telling me the other day, have you realized that you haven't been out of jail or a juvenile hall or a psychiatric hospital since you were 16? I've been out a year and a half, the longest I've ever been out of jail or any lockdown facility. I'm continuing going to church. I serve at the food pantry.
Then he started going to Illuminate, and now he's serving at Illuminate, helping out with like setup and tear down. And I just started to see him grow, and like even what some of my friends were telling me, like, dude, your brother's growing, man. Like, it's insane. Like, and started to really just like see that transformation in him as well.
God is doing amazing things in my life. He's keeping me clean and sober. He's keeping me in the Word, and He's really moving in my life and helping me grow.
I'm very proud of my brother just to see him making these steps and just in faith to trust God even though things might be crazy at times. And I'm really excited to see what God has for both of us actually in the future.
There is a pretty tough transitional period for a lot of the guys. Some guys are able to adjust quicker than others, but most of the time there's a lot of issues in the first 30 days of a guy coming into the house. A lot of that is attributed to the fact that most of the guys are coming in from hardcore drug abuse, you know, whether they were all alcoholics or suffering from another substance abuse. But a lot of the guys come in fresh off of that, and so they're still, you know, pretty much detoxing through that 30 days. So there's a lot of uncomfort going on within them in the first place. And a lot of times that's a good sign because it lets me know that they are sobering up. You know, if they were comfortable and everything was fine, I'd probably be, you know, concerned.
If you were homeless in the streets and you knew that if you said certain words that you could get a roof over your head, I think just about anybody would do that. And pretty much I expect people to lie to me. It's part of the drugs and the alcohol. It's just part of dealing with the culture that I deal with. I know that when I was on drugs and alcohol, I lied. So basically, you look past that. You look at the bigger picture, and you look at them with hopefully with the eyes of Christ, knowing that they're just lost and that Jesus Christ needs to get into their lives.
I called James on false pretenses, man. You know, in a way, you know, I knew I wanted this money from the unemployment insurance, but I needed some certain papers to get it. He gave me the papers. Just as I asked. You know, I went to the Friday nights sessions, but all that wasn't at heart. I was just trying to get some money so I can get some drink. And like I said, God did not let it happen. I went through 3 hearings, and they that close to giving it to me, but they said no, you got to come back. Then it was a mix-up, and to think back on it now, I just know it was all God, man. God sent me to RLM on a fluke, you know, me being a fluke, and then I got there, and RLM got a hold of me. You know what I'm saying? And I've been sober ever since. And I didn't have a place to live, and I came into the house. The rules were no drinking, and I didn't drink because the fact that, you know, I couldn't live there and I needed a place to stay. But it wasn't I'm still saying it wasn't full-hearted. But after a while, with the help of my pastor, the pastors at Knott Avenue Foundations, James, and his program, this ministry, I succeeded, man, to be a better person today, man, just through RLM and God, and I'm moving forward now. And I'm working. I don't have any sicknesses that I used to have, when I was behind drinking, and I'm being blessed to get married to Lois. So it worked out fine, and I'm grateful for all that.
There was a guy in church that had been telling me for years that he was going to move and go into full-time ministry, and that when he did, he was going to turn his house over to me. And it just so happened that last year, around November, he finally went to do full-time ministry, and he turned the house over to us. It's not like RLM went out looking for the home, but when God opens up a door, you just kind of step through it, and where God leads, God provides. So once again, it was a miracle. God supplied just the amount of money that we needed to fix the house, move in, and get it going.
Before Recovery Life Ministries, it was just up and down. I would continue to find myself incarcerated and doing time, and I would have stints where I would do well, but I would continuously fall off, and I would lose everything I had worked hard for. There was never any consistency in my life, and that's pretty much my life before RLM. I was born an identical triplet brother with two brothers named Jared and Seth. At the age of 28, after doing several years of being incarcerated, the first day I was released, I shared a moment with my brother Jared had prayed for me. And he prayed for me on his hands and knees, and he let me know what type of person in his eyes I had become, and what he wanted to see from me, and what he knew I could become. So we prayed and we cried, and an hour and a half later, my brother Jared passed away. And that was one of the defining factors that brought me towards this path with Christ. Well, my life since I've got here with Recovery Life Ministries has changed dramatically. It's given me a chance to first and foremost find a relationship with Christ, the higher power, with Jesus Christ, my Savior. The men that are involved in the ministry, we build friendships, and it's given me a chance to build strong connections with other men at Knott Avenue. We attend several events, Recovery Life Ministries on Fridays. It's helped me find a new path in life, and stay focused, and find a meaning in life. Life right now for me has greatly improved. With over the past year, I found employment at Home Depot, and I was recently promoted to a service position in which I'm dealing with contractors, in which the company has faith that I can do the right thing in dealing and bringing in business with contractors. I was also blessed with a vehicle over the past year, and I have a small business as well that we're working with, an internet business. So life has greatly improved since I've built a relationship with Christ.
RLM house number one is our intake house. In other words, we're taking people straight off the streets. Their relationship to God, everything is fresh and new to them because they're struggling with their addictions. The second step house, which is the house that we're in right now, is for the guys that have actually been around for a while. They've been at least 6 months with sobriety and going to church, and they have a job. This house has 6 men in it at this point right now. They rotate the managers. In other words, each one of the guys will be a manager of the house for a 1-month period. The house has worked so well that even one of their own guys started drinking in the house, and because he couldn't get back on track, they turned him in, and he was asked to leave because he didn't want to take ownership of actually drinking. I've been really proud of them because the bottom line is they want a relationship with God more than they want the world in their lives.
I just want to say that it doesn't have to necessarily be RLM, but you need, if you have any problems and you don't know what to do, seek some counsel, seek the Lord, and you should be healed.
Since I've been in this home with RLM, through the fellowship, the Bible studies, all the love and compassion that these folks have showed me, it has allowed me to 100% commit my life to Christ.
I remember when I first got to the house, I didn't want to wake up and go to the morning Bible studies. I ended up just staying in bed, and I ended up getting kicked out of there when I first got there. And I left for 2 days, and I got a motel, and they accepted me back. They said, you know what, we're going to give you another chance. And they gave me a second chance. And from there, I grew a lot from there. And I thank RLM, James, for letting me come back. And I thank God for helping me grow.
you know, someday I'm going to have to continue to move forward without RLM. You know, RLM, I'm hoping it's always going to be a part of my life. I'm going to stay connected with the men that I've met here. But at some point, you got to have a, you know, your relationship with Christ is going to have to lead you, you know, from Recovering Life Ministries and back into the real world. And you know, like I shared, you know, I hope that Recovering Life is going to continue to be a part of my life. But I do have confidence that I can move forth from this point.
My sole purpose for being a part of this ministry is to fulfill what I believe is God's calling in my life. And that is mostly related to Mark chapter 5, you know, where Jesus heals the possessed boy. And when the possessed boy comes and wants to be with Jesus, Jesus tells him, go back to that which you came, and tell them the good things that I've done for you. And that's generally what I'm doing here. You know, going back to that which I had come from myself, a life of addiction, violence, and crime, to help, you know, spread the good news about Jesus Christ to those. And this ministry has totally blessed me with the ability to do that, you know, in a way that I've always wanted to do it. With that being said, my purpose for this house, being a part of this house, is to ensure that all the men that come through this have an absolutely equal opportunity to build the number one most important thing in their life, and that's the foundation upon Christ.
You know, I want to thank you for joining us and kind of catching the vision. I hope we've been able to open up a window so that you can kind of see what Recovering Life Ministries is all about. I hope that you've seen the heart of some of our men as far as the way they were broken before they came here and how Jesus has put them back together. We couldn't do this on our own. A lot of it is because of the community support and the fundraisers that we do. We couldn't do it without the support of all of you. We really appreciate you for joining us.